to the We Love Wrestling spot. My name is Terry. I'm with Nicole from Down for the Count. I'm with Jinx from the Pretty Hills. Today, we are with someone who's 5'5". She's sweeter than wine. It's the holiday season, so she's coming straight from your mama's kitchen. We are with Red Velvet. She's going to mix it up for us today. How are you doing today, man?
How are you guys? I'm doing well.
You're doing good. The first question I always ask before we get started is, what started your love for wrestling, or why do you love wrestling?
I love wrestling, personally me, because I danced for years, but I always wanted to be part of a sport. So I never could find a sport that I could be a part of while still getting to like entertain people until like, bam, sports entertainment. Here comes wrestling. And dance was a big part of my life. So it's the perfect place where I can like combat and do a sport and still entertain and bring something beautiful to the sport. Also, my dad was a boxer, so I knew I didn't want to become a boxer, but I wanted to do something that brought that fire and that adrenaline. So wrestling was the best thing. I started watching when I was 9 with my mom. And I jokingly said I was going to become a wrestler. I don't think at that age I really wanted to. I think I was just joking from what she says. But life came full circle, and now I did exactly what I said I was going to do at 9 years old. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, at 9, when you started watching, who were some of the wrestlers who came out to you that you wanted to be like?
When I was 9, the first person I saw was The Rock versus Stone Cold. So that caught my attention, just like the TV, because they were like in like, I guess, Falls Count Anywhere, and they were like going into the audience and stuff. So me and my mom were like, what is this? As we started watching more, I fell completely in love with Lita and the Hardys. So they were like what made me. Lita was why I wanted to wrestle, because she was just, at the time, you're 9 years old, you see somebody with like tattoos and this fire red hair, and she was not only beautiful, but she was like so agile and so athletic, and like could compete with the boys. She wasn't really one of the ones that was too into like bra and panties. You know, she was at that moment where she was changing history for the women. So she definitely was my idol who got me to want to start wrestling.
Okay. Now we're gonna kick this up. You're here for a couple things. You're one of the most talked about new people in the wrestling business in a lot of different companies. So the first person we don't have go up is Jinx, because you're gonna be making a debut somewhere real soon, and Jinx has been privileged to see a lot of these shows. So Jinx, go ahead.
So as most people know, you came up in Few down here in Miami, Florida. How would you describe your experience coming up in Few, like, and being down here in the Miami atmosphere?
It was amazing. I actually started off with Rosa Negra from Puerto Rico, and she was down here in Miami, and she got injured when she was in Japan. So she threw me over to JB, and I was looking for schools, and he happens to have was having a grand opening for his school. So I joined there. It's funny because he says that like my bumps were horrible. He says I was horrible. I think he's joking. But he said that the first time he saw me, you know, this skinny, tiny, little lanky girl, he's like, oh, she's not coming back. And he was like, I was shocked that you came the next day. And then you came the next week. And then you came the next month. And then fast forward, like, I think it was 2 months. I came straight every single day for 2 months. So my first match was at 2 months, because he was like, whoa, like, she can really go. But he said he didn't think I was going to come back. So I was there starting 2016. Fast forward maybe like 2 years ago, I started getting more into like, I was doing the indies before, but like left the school, like, oh, graduated was maybe like 3 years ago. But my experience, JB is like amazing. He's taught me everything that I know in the ring. He was very, very hard on me when he saw that it's what I wanted to do. He never gave up on me, but he did definitely push my buttons sometimes. Like, oh, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna. But it's the fuel I needed. So now every time I go back to the school and see his students, he like just hugs me, and he's like, "Man, I can't believe how far you've come. Like, I always knew you would get there, but like, it's so good to see it." But every time I'm backstage and like have a match, someone always says like, you know, where did you train? You know, and I'm proud to say where I came, regardless of whatever anyone else has to say, or if they have opinions about my trainer. he's really good and he taught me what I know, and that's why I'm good. So I'll forever give back to FEW anytime.
Okay. So, within your career thus far, who would you say you enjoy working with most in the ring?
Oof. That one's hard because in the last 5 years, there's only a couple people I've worked a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people have been like here, there, here, there. Definitely have to go with Kylan. She was my road buddy. She's been my road buddy since we started AEW together, and I knew her from the Indies. I can go days with her. Um, she's one of the ones. I haven't gone to work Thunder Rosa yet, but we've rolled around a little bit at AEW. So I would definitely want to get in on some serious stuff with her. But everyone I've been with, like gotten with, has been a pleasure. I'm trying to think if there was like a specific person. I had a couple storylines, but I was still new at the time. So I don't think I was able to grasp, like, not grasp, but like enjoy really like wrestling them because I was still new and still was like really nervous and stuff. But my top right now has to be like Kylan because we could just go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and just one more. Who would you? Well, how would you say your transition into AEW has been going?
It's been great. When I first got there, I didn't think I was. I actually don't think I was gonna get a match, but the person who was supposed to get the match came late. So I always say when you're at the right place at the right time, things happen. So I got a match that night, and it was great. Like people were like riding back on it, putting it everywhere, and then my niece got COVID, and I was gone for 6 weeks because she got COVID. Then I was fine, like in the clear to go back, and then my mom got COVID, and then my sister got COVID. So I stayed away from AW for almost 6 weeks until they were completely negative and I was completely negative. So that was very hard on me. That was the time where like the women's tournament happened and they had like 2 or 3 pay-per-views that I know I could have just been a part of, even in the audience. But I had to stay home. And they appreciated it because I never got COVID. I tested positive once, but I never got sick. But because everyone in my house was positive, I was honest about it. Even though I was embarrassed to say it because I was like, I'm not gonna get a job here. Like, I was just there and now I gotta be gone. But they appreciated it. And when I came back, I was like so grateful. And I was like, here we go. Like, it's time. And I had my match with Abaddon, and then it just took off from there. And I've been back ever since. So
Well, they
it's been
always they always say honesty is the best policy, and it gets you a lot further than lying about things. So
absolutely,
it
yeah.
works.
I think
It works.
sometimes it was hard because I was like, okay, I can maybe like I don't feel sick, maybe I shouldn't say anything so I can keep coming back. But I knew deep in my gut, like if I wasn't sick but was carrying it and got somebody else there older sick, it would be on my conscience. So I was like, if I gotta take time off, I'll take time off. And then it all worked out. 6 weeks was a long time to be away, especially when you got that first taste of being there. But when I got back, it was like I never left and it went better than I expected. So everything happens for a reason.
Okay. It all does.
Throw it to Nicole now.
I just wanted to say, as someone who works within sort of healthcare and has to deal with COVID patients a lot and deal with people being in and out of work because of COVID, I appreciate your honesty on my standpoint. It's hard for me to get my people to be honest about being around COVID, but obviously they appreciate that in the long run. So I just want to say I want kudos for doing that as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But also I want to back off of Jinx. So I know we talked a little bit. So how, because obviously your transition into AEW kind of had bumps along the way. So how are you feeling with everything now? You're just like, I'm just eager to prove myself. Um, so how do you feel about everything?
I think right now I'm grateful to say I'm in a great position. Definitely have been on TV a lot more than I thought. And they see that, I was grateful to have, there was an article that came out, I guess, there was, what do you call it? Like a press meeting before the last pay-per-view. And I was told by certain people and Cody himself, like he brought me up as one of, he says is gonna be like 2021's like breakout star type deal, like, you know, that I was a person to keep an eye on. So I'm in a great position right now. Thankfully, like Brandy took a liking to me and decided to take me under her wing and tag with me and stuff. So it's gone great, and no matter what happens, I'm always grateful for the experience. But right now, like I'm riding the wave, and I'm on that wave right now. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing because that's what got me there and has kept me there.
So speaking of, so what about you that hasn't been showcased yet to the larger audience that you're excited for them to see from you in the future?
I feel like there's certain things, but if I gave them away,
Yeah, nothing
it's
that's
like
going to spoil anything, but just like a general consensus of it.
Just a little more of me and what I can do. I think on Dynamite, a lot of people that have become fans of me because of AEW has been through AEW Dark. And sometimes we don't have as much time. It's unfortunate, you know, because not because we're women, but you know there is so many people on the card that they're trying to showcase as well. So Dark, sometimes we don't get as much time. I'm really grateful now that they've put so many women matches. We literally have 5 women matches tomorrow on Dark. But I would definitely love to, you know, everyone wants to get that spot on Dynamite, and I would love to keep getting spots on Dynamite to show them what I can really do. More time, more matches, more angles. Just because that TV has reached a larger audience. Like, I have people watching me from Colombia. Somebody told me they were watching me from Peru because they, I guess, debuted a channel that now is international. So being on TV definitely reaches a larger audience. So everyone's fighting to be on TV. So I would love to be on TV more, you know.
So speaking, so I'm gonna circle back a little bit to you training with JB and you going back to school. Is there any of his students that he's working with right now currently that you really that you think can really do something with the industry, or just like a combination of people down there?
There's 3 students. One has not debuted yet, so I won't say their name because they're actually, I don't want to say kind of famous, but like they have their little like history, so I won't expose who that person is. But I train with that person, and I train with Florida Blue and Layla Gray. Every time I go, I strictly get in the ring with them in the mornings, and they can go. And they've told me, you know, that they're inspired that I've at AEW now, and they met me before I was even there. So the fact that I keep coming back and just sharing knowledge with them, they keep going. They definitely want it, and they're dedicated. It's been a while since I've been there. I always keep up with JB. I call him every day. I tell him every time I have a match, I call. I get on the phone with him. But there's been a while since I've seen consistent students. Like I would say, like my graduating class was like where the most people went and did things, but now he has a little group within them, I say, that really want it. There's a couple young ones that I've taught, which they teach at night, but they still have a long way to go. But definitely like Florida Blue and Layla Gray, and the other third person. Once that person debuts, like it's gonna be wild because they have been busting their ass, and they will already be known when they come out because they've been on TV before. So that's as much I'll say. But they're all doing great, all 3 of them. So I'm very confident that they will go far if they don't get impatient and just keep pushing, because impatience is what I feel ruined the career of a lot of people that had a lot of potential while I was there. They just got impatient. Like, oh, WWE hasn't called, I haven't gone to trial, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And then they just kind of like flake. And that was an issue with me for a while. You know, there was moments where JB would be like, you have to be patient. And I'm like, no, but I'm good. Like, why isn't anybody looking at me and stuff? And who would have thought that, you know, the pandemic would have been the time where nobody's really resting, but it would have been the time where my career took a turn for the best, and it changed my life. So patience is really important.
I love that. And just one more question, then I'm gonna circle it back to Terry. But give us 2 words that's gonna describe the future for Red Velvet.
2 words. I'm gonna say. Oh, that's a hard one. I'm trying to find the word. Unique. And this is the double word, I guess. History making. I am determined to make history, and I'm determined to make history in AW because they are the biggest company I've worked for. They are the company that actually, like, they took their time, they gave me a chance, and that's how I give back to them and to the audience or whatever. But I am determined to make history in AEW. Somehow, some way, I'm going to uniquely make history because I'm putting it into the universe.
I love that. All right. Thank you for talking.
No problem.
Oh man, let's run it back. You know, Red Velvet was supposed to be on the GCW Diamond Cup, but she wasn't. And then she got announced for something else that we're on sponsoring. I'm gonna do these for these type of interviews in this section here.
Hey, yes.
Mission Pro Run It Back December 11th in Buda, Texas at King Ball Kingdoms on the Titile Match Network. You will be facing Raché Chanel as they announced it. Renee? Raché Chanel. I love her character. I've seen her tell a lot of her opponents that, you know, girl, let me comb your hair.
Oh my
so
God.
How do you feel about So how do you feel about this match on December 11th?
I'm excited. I've had some time with her in the ring at AEW. We haven't had a match yet. So it was funny because the week I found out that, you know, they were posting the flyer with like the mystery opponent for like a week. And then the week of that they exposed who it was, I actually saw her at AEW. And I was like, I'm going against you. Do you know that? She's like, no, I didn't know or whatnot. So I'm very excited about that. I was not able to go to the last show because Alex and I had AEW, which is fortunate. You know, it's not unfortunate. It was unfortunate for the fans, but they were more than happy to see us on AEW. So I'm happy to be able to run it back December 11th. And I love Mission Pro. I love Thunder Rosa, and so grateful that I'm a part of that family now. Because, like everyone knows from before, it was actually a coincidence that I got on the first show because I was not on the first show, but somebody had to step back, and thankfully I was the person put there to replace the person, and I've been back ever since.
Something was supposed to happen on this show. Hopefully it can still happen in the future with Mission Pro. We was gonna run you right in line with something, so hopefully it can happen maybe at their next show.
Run
you back on the Mission Pro show. You might, I can't say too much on it, but we tried to set something up on it for this Mission Pro show, but you know, pandemic and everything, it didn't work out. So maybe in the future it still could happen. But I do want to ask you this because you know it's a championship match going to be crowned. They're the first Mission Pro champion. I'm asking everybody, who's your pick, La Rosa Negra or Lacey Ryan?
La Rosa Negra. That's my trainer. I've been there. I've taken punches from her. She's not taking away from her opponent at all, but La Rosa Negra, I think, is very, very underrated. Very. She is so talented. She's taught me a lot of what I know, and she deserves, not that her opponent doesn't, in my opinion, I got to say it like this, in my opinion, she definitely deserves to hold that championship, and especially be the first woman to hold that championship. Because she's busted her ass. And I think a lot of people and a lot of companies have like pushed her to the side, but she can go and she's extremely talented. And I'm definitely excited. I will be watching that closely because I will slide in there when she wins and hug it out and stuff because that's my trainer. She's like my mom, I say. So definitely looking forward to that.
You gonna hug it out, or are you gonna try to challenge for the championship? Wouldn't you like to face your mom, as you would say?
I might hug it out first, and don't give it away. I could have just turned on her.
Okay, mom.
Just kidding. Maybe maybe we'll see. I gotta see when the next show is, and I might. That would be great. I had one match with her in the Bahamas. It was the first time, and I am like such a person where I love those type of moments, you know, those moments that you get only once, and it's like to go against your trainer. And I can't go against JB because it's JB and he's a man. Like, yes, we can go at it intergender match, but like to truly be able to go at it, it was always my dream to go against Rosa, and it happened in the Bahamas. So I'm definitely looking forward to part 2. I'll come for that title. You ain't got to tell me twice.
All right, now that's what I'm talking about.
Set it
Always
up.
about to show the teacher up.
Before we get into this closing, I got to ask this because I keep hearing it. When you say you coming straight from your mama's kitchen, what does that mean, Miss Bell?
That means from your mom's kitchen and her mom's kitchen and her mom's kitchen, because you know what? There's no denying that mom's cooking is the best. And maybe dad's cooking too, but preferably when everyone comes home, they come home to mom. And when mom cooks, it's just like warms your heart. It's the best of the best. So that's why it comes straight out of your mama's kitchen, because I'm always serving it up. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like mom's cooking.
Love it.
Love it. Love that right there.
My mom's cooking is the best of the best.
Yep. My mom can throw down. She can throw down.
Well, your mom can throw down. It's about to be Thanksgiving.
I know.
What's the best
Can't
thing?
wait.
What's the best thing your mom throw down on?
The best. I can't say where the recipe comes from because then it's gonna reveal something that might get revealed later in AEW, and the fans don't know. But my favorite thing that my mom cooks on Thanksgiving is her coconut rice. The best. Everyone in my family has tried to duplicate it. They can't. I just had some too because she made some. And I was like, I have an interview at 3. And she's like, oh, so you want me to make you a quick steak and some coconut rice? I'm like, but that's
And
the best.
what
Especially
region
with her
this
turkey.
coconut rice is coming from?
Huh?
Can I ask you what region this coconut rice is from?
No, because that has a backstory to. I can't say. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole thing. I can tell you guys.
We'll wait till
I can
this
tell
is
you
done.
guys off camera.
Yeah, we'll wait till this.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some coconut rice.
Right.
We got to leave the fans on a cliff, you know, because
Right.
they're not going to tune in, you know.
Coconut rice coming down the line, so just look out for it. You heard it here first.
Maybe I don't think there'll be any coconut rice in AEW, but sometimes.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Even though I've asked everybody this. Rock or Stone Cold?
The Rock.
Hey, yes. Woo. Last like 4 days I've been getting Stone Cold. It's kind of been hurting me.
The Rock. I love them both, but I love The Rock. And then one time I went to a show and I met his mom, and she just looked at me and she was like, "You are so pretty. You want to be a wrestler?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You're gonna be a great wrestler one day." I was like,
Aw,
so maybe I'll see her one day again and let her know like that she saw me 6 years ago and told me I was pretty and that I was gonna be a good wrestler. So
yeah.
Oh, I saw Miss Outerjohn from across the room, and I was like, oh.
She
so
put it.
I didn't she didn't see me or nothing, but I just saw her from across the room, and I felt like, hey, that's good right there. Jinx, Danielle, do you have anything before I go into this closing segment?
Jinx. Oh yes, I do. Just one last thing. So, what would be the one thing that you would say that you've learned from JB that you'll continue to carry on with you and throughout your career and throughout life?
one thing I learned from him was always enjoy the journey and live in the present moment. We get so caught up on like the goal being like get signed, the future get signed, that things are happening in the moment and you don't stop and take a breath and take a moment to soak it all in. And then years later, or even 2 months later, you get an interview and someone asks you to explain to you what your first time was when you were somewhere, and you're like, I have no idea. So when a lot of big things have happened in my life, I've really taken a moment to like sit down and acknowledge everything. And as crazy as it is, 5 years later, I would not change a single thing in my career. I would not change my knee surgery. I wouldn't, nothing. Everything has been a part of the story and what has made me me, and why I feel like why I'm so like just don't stop. You know, I had things that have knocked me down left and right in my career. Super underdog because people, oh, this small girl, like, oh, you wrestle? Like, what? Okay, yeah. Oh, you're just gonna get beat up. And then I come out and they're like, oh, and then when they see me in gear, my gear's like, I used to be a dancer, so it's very like flashy and cute. And they're like, there's no way this girl knows how to fight. And then they're like, oh, damn, you can go. So definitely to enjoy the journey, because the journey that you have when you start, the journey that you have when you're on the road, driving for hours with people, telling stories, staying together in hotel rooms is a different journey than when you're signed on the road touring in a hotel, your own hotel room. You know, you're flying, getting flown out and stuff. I had a recent encounter where I was uh, buying some liquor at the liquor store for my friends for our Friendsgiving, and I got recognized in my hometown for the first time. I only got recognized one time before, and it was only because I danced and did like a Honda commercial that was like local, and people were like, "Aren't you the girl from the Honda commercial?" It's the only time I got recognized at home. So I was here at the liquor store, and I got stopped by the manager right away. It probably gave it away that I was wearing an AEW mask anyway, but he was like, "You're Red Velvet," and I was like, and he was like, oh my god. And then he called his wife, and his wife was like, went crazy, like, and then she like whispered to him like on FaceTime if she can have an autograph, and I'm like, don't worry about it. So I went to my parents' house. I came back, I brought her like an 8x10 signed photo, because he gave me a receipt paper, and that was so sad. I'm like, that paper is gonna get destroyed in like a couple of years, so let me just go get you a picture and stuff. And then he took a picture. But that was a moment I soaked up in, because it's like when you're first starting out, like no one recognizes you, no one knows who you are. So just the fact I even impacted people to get recognized or ask for a picture, like that humbles me. It brings you back, you know. I'm not like, oh, superstar. I'm just like, wow, in my hometown, I'm doing something good because I got recognized by people. So it makes me happy.
Let me say, the wrestling community does know you and are supporting you. You have a lot of support, if you don't know it, from a lot of different podcasters and everybody out here. Just to put that out there to you.
Thank you.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that again, we're proud of your journey and to see what you're going. 'Cause the main reason of us creating We Love Wrestling is to support people and to have a platform for those who look like us within the business, because we're all doing different things. It's not all cookie cutter, especially nowadays. So just keep doing what you're doing. Super excited to see where you go, and we're here to support you and along your journey.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Last thing, back to the JB thing. He let some of us in on some information. Can you tell us who came up with your character?
He's gonna want to take all the credit. So I will say he did not come up with the name. I came to his school with the name already, but definitely we sat there long nights and like did the blueprint of who Red Velvet was gonna be. So I give him all the credit for that. He ain't gonna sue me for it, but he definitely came out with Straight Out of Your Mama's Kitchen, and it was a joke too, because I think it was the time where like everyone was doing like straight out of Compton, so like straight out of this, straight out of that, blah blah blah. So he's like, why don't you just come out from Straight Out of Your Mama's Kitchen? Like you're gonna bake anyways, you're gonna do this. So he came up with that. He came up with 5 Foot Fine, Sweeter Than Wine. We came up with the Stir It Up because basketball was huge. So like I kind of wanted to just get noticed by James Harden because he was always serving it up. And he was like, he still probably has no idea who I am to this day. So maybe this will, and you know, he'll like invite me.
We got to tag him in it.
So I started serving it up, and I was like, man, like that's exactly what I'm gonna do every time I'm about to like lay down the smackdown, you know. So that's how I let people know I was about to go down. And people get behind it every time. Like the first turning point was one of my first FEW shows, and all the kids were doing it. And I love kids. So like JB pulled me to the side and he's like, that's how you know your brand is growing. Like all these kids are serving it up. All these kids they know what you're doing. So together we've come up with all that. So he can take all the credit. I know that's what he wants to hear. So when you watch it, yes, JB came up with a lot of the stuff.
JB.
But, You know, I'm the one that wrestles and I'm the one that portrays the character, but I definitely had his help in developing who Red Velvet is today.
You gave more credit to him than he gave himself. He said you came up
You
with it
did.
all yourself.
You really did.
Oh,
You
that was
said it was
sweet.
so
No,
easy.
I give him a lot of credit with like the background things that I needed to really get across like who Red Velvet was. Because when I first started, I didn't know how to explain to people like, well, who is Red Velvet? So then I started getting to know myself more as a wrestler. And then I was like, I used to have red hair. So my biggest thing I would tell him was, I don't want me to be Red Velvet because I have red hair, which is why I dyed my hair black, because it was a test and it happened before AEW. And I was like, I want to see how much my fans really know me. Am I Red Velvet because of my hair, or am I going to be Red Velvet because of my persona and what I portray? And it's taken off, and it has nothing to do with my hair now. So that's the best part. But Red Velvet is a little of like, I have that sweetness from the cake, you know, and then velvet fabric. It's fancy, it's elegant, it's smooth. And that's how I try to be when I'm in the ring. And then stirring it up and in the kitchen is like what I love to do anyways. I love to bake. So it all tied in very well.
Being that you love to bake, what's one of your favorite things to bake? Because
I
I
love
also love to bake.
Huh?
I also love to bake, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm asking.
I love to make funfetti cake. Everyone's like, "Oh, red velvet cake." No, I love to make funfetti cake because I love funfetti cake. I do brownies a lot, cookies. I just not learned, but I did for the first time a while ago with my boyfriend Rice Krispies. So we did regular Rice Krispies and we did like fruity pebble Rice Krispies, the regular ones. And so that was good. So now I just kind of want to get started on like making like pies because I haven't made pies before. So I want to try to make pie or like cheesecake.
I'm actually getting ready to make a peach cobbler cheesecake for
Mm,
Thanksgiving and some sweet potato pies.
that
If
sounds.
you're around, you're in town.
No, I'll be in Tampa.
Oh, see, I was about to say if you're around, I drop some off for you.
Oh man, yeah. I bet that's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Putting up here like, let me get all my ingredients now.
Yeah.
So, all right. So our last segment that we do is called the Put Yourself Over moment. This is where you tell us about any social media you have, any websites they should go look for you at, your next match coming up on Dark or Dynamite. Just put yourself over.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Next tomorrow I have a match against Tesha Price, someone I've been in the ring before, just as my tag partner. So that's gonna be an interesting match. That will be on Dark. Instagram, I'm gonna put this big. I've had a really big issue now with fake pages and like harassing fake pages. So I'm telling all the fans who are watching, please, any page that you see that has 2 followers, 3 followers who are claiming that my page got hacked, it is not me. It's sad I had to make my page private for right now, and I've been like handpicking who I accept because they've made like 3 or 4 pages and they put my family pictures on it. And I take that very not lightly at all. My page currently right now has 9,000 plus followers. That is my page. It is LA_1_ Velvet with 2 T's. Perfect. That's Instagram. Facebook, I'm Stephanie Cardona. They don't let me be Red Velvet. So I'm Stephanie Cardona on Facebook. I'll reply to you guys anyways. Where are we? Twitter, I had to change it. I'm THEE_red_velvet with 1 T now. I no longer have 2 T's, thanks to AEW. And I have a YouTube page. That link is on my Twitter and my Instagram for my YouTube page. I have a Pro Wrestling Tees store, and you guys can find me on Cameo. So, girls, you need to break up with your boyfriends, or guys, you want to break up with girlfriends. That's like my favorite one. I'm waiting for someone to do it. I would love to break up with somebody. Graduation, get well soon. Somebody last wanted like a hugs and a shout out. Anything, I'll do it on Cameo. I also speak Spanish, so if you guys speak Spanish now that you know the Latin world is watching AEW more, I will do a Spanish cameo for whoever. And I think that's it. Oh, I don't have my store up yet. If anyone wants signed 8x10s, I have some pins that are limited, that are selling out. You guys can DM me for that. Please DM me for serious inquiries only. And I think that is it. For those in Texas, I will be doing a signing at the mall the following day from the show with Thunder Rosa and Shaw Guerrero. So that's going to be awesome as well.
December 12th, the signing in Texas at the mall. Be there. Meet them all. Let me see if I got the information. Rolling Oaks Mall from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saul Guerrero, Thunder Rosa, and Red Velvet. Yay! Tickets will be available at the door the day of the event.
Yes.
All right. Let's see, guys. I've had fun here. You know, I feel good. And Jinx, I want to thank you for joining. Nicole, I want to thank you for joining. Red Velvet, I want to thank you for joining us. Just let you guys know, I met her at Mission Pro, the first show, and y'all know, I tell you, I'm just sitting back to myself. She was like, "Get over here and take a picture." You know, I'm like, I'm just cool, but she's very enjoyable to meet. Meet her at the mall. Meet her at the Mission Pro show. Watch her on AEW Dark. Watch her on AEW Dynamite. Watch her whenever you see her. Support her. Oh, I need one of those pins. I'm collecting wrestling
Right,
pins.
I collect them too. I was waiting.
Oh, you're talking about?
Yes, of course.
So I had to put that.
I'll DM you. Don't worry.
But we'd like to thank Red Velvet for joining us. Continue support, like I said. And I'm Terry. And as I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet for the culture.